This now, the Council for Medical Schemes is calling on medical aids not to raise consumers' blood pressure. Now, it wants schemes to 2023 price increases reasonable. So let's find out just what reasonable exactly is with Board of Healthcare Funders Actuary. That's Charlton Murove. Charlton, thank you for your time and good morning to you. So what is reasonable for medical aid schemes?
Good morning, and thank you for having me. Yes, that's a difficult question, actually. So, reasonable, it depends specifically on the circumstances of the scheme. So, schemes do set contribution increases to match what they expect to spend in terms of healthcare. So, if healthcare expenditure increases and they expect big increases, then they're going to set increases at that level. And they must do that so that they can meet the promise of benefit payments that are set in the rules. So schemes are actually in a difficult place. They actually want to keep increases as low as possible, but then they will run the risk of not making the payments as and when they fall due.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure medical aid schemes may argue that there are some, cost push factors here that they have to deal with, whether it's the impact of the weaker rand exchange rate, the burden of diseases, etc. Hence, they have to factor in all those, impacts to come to a price increase. What would your perspective be on your response to those medical aid schemes who say, listen, we have so much cost to deal with, hence the increases?
Yes, so I think we've seen global inflation going up quite a bit. The UK, the US, close to 10%. Fortunately, we are still below 10%, maybe sitting at about 7% now. So healthcare expenditure, it's affected by a lot of things. Inflation is just one of them. We do import a lot of things that are used in the healthcare system. So the impact of the global inflation is going to come in. Then, besides inflation, the nature of healthcare is such that it will increase at rates above inflation from year to year. This is because the population is aging, the disease burden is increasing. We know how the chronic diseases are actually making a huge impact on medical schemes. Then we also have to bring in COVID-related factors. During COVID, we saw people accessing less and less healthcare. Now that things are normalizing, people are going back, getting those surgeries which they had said they hold off because of COVID risks. And the rebound in utilization is going to make it very difficult for schemes to actually match the guidance which the CMS has provided.
Yeah.
That's just the environment.
But Charlton, at the same time, realistically, can South Africans at this point afford medical aid scheme price increases?
Well, I think the answer is it will be very difficult, and schemes do realize that we have inflation which affects our pockets. You have high cost fuel, electricity. So the money left over for medical schemes to buy medical aid, it will be limited. But at the same time, risk schemes cannot be the only ones who say, no, we are not going to increase prices, because they will not be able to meet the promises that they have made in terms of the benefits. I think it's fair to say that no scheme actually wants to increase contributions that much, because people join schemes. In most instances, it's voluntary. So the schemes actually run the risk of losing members if they are too aggressive with increases.
Yeah.
So I think they will always be responsible in terms of how they pass on increases.
That's right. I think just for clarity's sake, before I let you go, I mean, I understand that for medical aid schemes to try and get more than 5.7%, increases, or trying to get that sort of approved, that 5.7% cap approved, they would need to actually prove why they need that increase, why they particularly need that money. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. And I think schemes will sit down, do their own analysis, and present the figures to the CMS. The CMS is unlikely to say no as long as there is enough motivation for that. So it's a lot of work for schemes, obviously, but they will have to demonstrate why they are recommending the increases that are above the guidance that the CMS has.
All right, we'll leave it there. And I appreciate you speaking to us about this. Charlton